Okay, I'm going to give you a quick demonstration on how to create a 3-node cluster that spans 3 different data centers. So, for example, in AWS, you might have 2 nodes in the same region between 2 different availability zones. We're replicating to a 3rd region for disaster recovery. Pretty much same configuration in any of the cloud providers as possible, or anywhere where you simply want to have 3 copies of your data in different data centers. And this could be for SQL Server, could be for SAP, file servers, anything you would normally find in a Windows cluster. You can build a 3-node shared SANless cluster with no shared storage. So we're going to use Cyrus DataKeeper to do the replication and the cluster integration. You can see I have a 3-node cluster configured. I have no roles currently enabled, and I have no storage enabled. And so to make it simple, I've written the command lines to create the job, then create the mirror, and then register that DataKeeper volume in the cluster. So first we will go ahead and create the job. We'll copy that, paste it here. So we created the job. Then we will create the first mirror. So this is going to be an asynchronous mirror from the primary node to the DR node. Okay, and then we're going to create the synchronous mirror from the primary node to the secondary node, so they're in the same cloud region. So you can mix and match synchronous and asynchronous. And then the job contains the information of the potential mirror from the secondary to the DR node, which is also asynchronous. And then finally, we're going to register this D drive, was what we replicated was the D drive. We're going to register that in the cluster. Okay, so let's take a look at what we have now. So we have in Failover Cluster Manager, we have this this DataKeeper volume D in available storage. So at this point, I could run my SQL Server setup and say create a new cluster instance, and then add node on, run the SQL Server setup again on the secondary nodes. They add node to cluster, and the DR node add node to cluster. Same with any other cluster application. I'm just ready to run the cluster setup for that application at this point. DataKeeper shows me the job I just created. We have this D drive. It's currently replicating from primary to DR. That one's doing asynchronous replication. And then primary to secondary is doing synchronous replication. And at that point, we're ready to install our clustered application. Now, I've written a blog post about this where you can get all the details on the scripts I ran. So if you go out to Clustering for Mere Mortals, you'll check out for this how to create a DataKeeper replicated volume that has multiple targets via CLI. And so here's the first script we ran, second script, and then finally the third script. So I hope this is helpful. Leave me a note in the comments if you have any questions or just want to reach out, and we'll be sure to respond. Thanks.